surprising. But believe it or not, a lot of the reasons that you're going to get denied for credit cards, denied for loans, denied for credit lines has nothing to do with income and revenue and time in business. And the stuff you think really matters, other stuff that you probably overlooked, is a large contributing factor and actually accounts for more than half of all the denials out there. Now, the good news is just by knowing the information we're going to cover today during this training and making some minor modifications, you can stop future denials and even go back to previous denials and get a lot of those turned around to actual approvals, which is pretty cool. So let's dive in. Let's talk about what you're doing wrong with your business name that's creating all kinds of additional risk for your business and getting you denied. And even when you do get approved, also contributing to you getting less money than you should be able to get and paying worse terms, meaning shorter terms, higher interest rate than what you really should be getting. Okay, so let's dive in. The business name is more important than you think that it is. And there's a lot of reasons for this, but the main reason for it is that it reflects the risk of your business. Look, most business owners completely overlook how significant the industry that you're in is to so many things. And here, let me give you some examples. So first of all, most IRS audits are triggered by the expenses you have in your industry not matching the norm of expenses in other industries. I'm not an accountant. This is an accounting advice. But even audits are triggered by this same thing of you being assessed in an industry that you may not be in just because of your code, your industry code, or the name of your business. Lenders have two different categories for businesses that they put them in. They put them into, first of all, a regular category, like an unrestricted category. And the unrestricted category really has to do with everything's good. Like, this is a business we're okay with. It's an industry we're okay with. All is good. We're going to underwrite them like a normal applicant. Then they have like a restricted industry. And restricted industry, a couple things will happen. So sometimes they have a level of restrictions where just automatically get you denied. They see your business name or they see your industry code. They say, we don't lend to that industry, automatic denial. A perfect example of this is somebody in the marijuana industry, right? There's still a lot of lenders that just don't want to lend to that industry because there's this gray area of whether it's legal or not at a federal level, right? So it's legal to state level, not at a federal level, creates complications. So a lot of lenders automatically halt, say no. Now, there's another area of restricted where you just face what they call greater underwriter scrutiny. And what that means is it means because of the industry you're in, they're not going to automatically deny you. But what they are going to do is they're going to say, yeah, we have to do a deeper dive. We can't let a computer underwrite. We have to manually underwrite. We have to apply a greater level of scrutiny. Basically what it means, it's going to be harder to get approved. Bottom line is that it's going to be harder for somebody in this restricted category where it's a high-risk industry for them to lend to than somebody that's not seen that way. Either way, it ain't good. When you have an industry, when you have a business name that reflects that you're in an industry that lenders don't like, it's going to do two things. Either automatically get you denied, or you might not get denied, but it's going to be harder to get approved. And even if you do get approved, you're going to get less money and worse terms than what you actually should get. Now, that being said, there are some things you need to focus on to get this right. You get this right, you're all set. And by the way, if you're just coming in, tell me your company's name. I want to give you a shout out right here on the live stream to get you a bunch of free exposure. Mike South is in here from St. Louis. Mike, it's always good to have you on. Thanks for coming in. Okay, so let's talk about what to do right for business names and what to do wrong. Well, first of all, the things to avoid are, in general, names that reflect that you're in a high-risk industry. Let's start there. So one of the easiest things you want to do is you want to go Google high risk NAICS. And NAICS is basically your industry code. I did a live stream on the entire NAICS code system a week or 2 weeks ago, so you can check that out on our YouTube channel. And basically, your NAICS code reflects the actual industry that you're in. So do a Google search, high-risk NAICS code, and you'll find two things. You'll find a list from NAICS.com, and you'll also find a list from credits. We had a blog post that shows you all the industries to avoid. So step one to getting your name right is know what industry you're in. Look, I stand on stages in front of a lot of 7, 8, 9-figure businesses. And when I ask this question about who knows what your NAICS code is, I can tell you that less than 5% of that room ever raised their hand. And the sad thing is the next question I ask is, how many of you have been denied or have struggled to get the financing you need? And almost all of them raise your hand. I'm like, you see the link? None of you know the industry you're in, so you're being seen as high risk. and then you're all struggling to get approved as a result. So a lot of people just don't know what industry they're in, and you should figure that out. If you are a software publisher, for example, and your NAICS code's 531411, well, then whenever you apply for credit financing, whenever you file your taxes, whenever you open a bank account, that's what you should tell the lender. I'm NAICS code 53411, and I'm a software publisher, for example. So you want to know exactly what the wording of your NAICS code is for your industry. You also want to know the number, like what is the number for the actual NAICS code. Here, I'll actually just pull this up super quick, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I sometimes show this because I think that it helps you better understand or better see what's going on. So let me go ahead and share the screen here. We're going to go over to Google. We'll take a look real quick. So one of the first things you really should do is just go to NAICS.com and just see what your actual industry code is, right? So I can come right here. I can do a search, and I can say software, okay? And then if I do go to software, then I can basically pull it up. Okay, here I am. I'm a software publisher, 513210. So now, whenever I'm going to apply for credit and financing, what I want to tell them is, hey, what industry are you in? You open your bank account. What industry are you in? Your lender, what industry are you in? You go to file taxes. What industry are you in? This is what I want to say. I'm a software publisher, 513210. Okay, now before I do this, I just want to do a quick search, and I want to say high risk NAICS codes. So what I want to do is I want to come and do a search for high-risk NAICS codes. There's two good articles you're going to find. The first is NAICS Association, and they're just giving us a list here of the industries that are high risk and kind of the reason for it. These are cash-intensive businesses. These are just high risk. These are money services businesses. So they're even giving you an idea of kind of what makes it high risk. Now, the second really good resource is our blog post on this, because we dive even more in depth. We say, hey, here's high-risk industry NAICS codes, and here's what makes them high risk. So this helps you avoid one of the high risk industries. Now, once you know that an industry is high risk, so I've chose software publishers, I checked this, software publishers isn't high risk here. I checked the NAICS, and let me see here, where was I here? And I'm not high risk on this either. Then I know I now have my industry. This is my actual industry. So one of the next things that I want to do is now I actually want to come in, and now I want to make sure that that industry is reflected everywhere I apply. Here's my NAICS code. It's 513210. I'm software publishers anytime it's asked. Now, one of the other things I want to do now is I want to make sure that anywhere lenders can see that NAICS code, that it's right. So I want to get my business credit reports done in Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian, and I always want to keep an eye on my NAICS code there to make sure it's correct. If they have a different NAICS code for me, then I want to actually dispute it with them. I want to say, look, this is wrong. I'm not in this industry. I'm in this industry. You need to check this out. You need to update it and correct it. I need to go back and do my have my accountant then update my taxes if my NAICS code wasn't correct there either. I need the IRS to know the industry that I'm in as well. And if I do that, then I have a pretty good chance, if I'm applying in the future with the right NAICS code, that I'm not going to be seen as being in a high-risk industry, which is very important. Because again, the problem is your business credit reports will give you failing scores just because they see you as being in one of these high-risk industries. So the bureaus underwrite you as high risk. The bureaus put you against other people in your industry, which is problematic if they don't even have the industry correct. Lenders have this greater underwriter scrutiny. So that's the first thing you want to do. Do the NAICS research. Make sure you're not in a high-risk industry. Make sure you know what your industry code is. Do it with your taxes. Do it with the business credit reporting agency. Do it for every loan credit line moving forward. Give them that code and the exact wording. Now, the next thing we want to do, we need to make sure our business name does not reflect that we are in one of those high-risk industries. Because the minute it does, even if our NAICS code shows we're in another industry, we're still going to face that greater underwriter scrutiny. Now, we learned this the hard way, right? At Credit Suite, we didn't know this when we started Credit Suite, so we messed up and put the word credit in our name. Now, our NAICS code is a software publisher, so we still have the low-risk NAICS code, but the fact that we have credit in our name still automatically puts us, in a lot of cases, in a high-risk, greater underwriter scrutiny category because we have the word credit in our name. So if I'm researching and I'm finding out financial services is high risk, then I want to avoid something like credit in my name. So what I recommend at that point is to keep your name as general as it possibly can, right? A lot of people like to go with their name enterprises, right? Crandall Enterprises or something to that effect. I'm really big on picking names that kind of have a lot of credibility, but they don't mean anything. So some of my other companies' names are Stillwater Sterling or Wentworth Price. These sound like sophisticated, credible organizations, but they don't mean anything. Like nobody's going to see Wentworth Price and think that that means I'm in a high risk industry. They don't know what it is based on the name. So when I'm choosing a name, I always recommend that you do something like that. Choose something that's simple, something that's easy to spell as well. You don't want to be able to come in. I'll give you an example. Credit Suite. I didn't know when we created Credit Suite that really people would have multiple spellings of sweet, but they do, right? Like sweet candy and sweet like a suite of products. Those two words are spelled differently here in the United States. So now every time I say Credit Suite, I say Credit Suite, S-U-I-T-E. Don't do that. Think about that. Is there a different word or is there different spellings of one of the words in your name? Are people going to have a hard time pronouncing the name? Are they going to have a hard time spelling the name? These things are serious inconveniences through the life of your business because every time you're explaining it to a customer, to a lender, to anybody, you got to spell it out or you got to explain it. And you don't want to have to keep doing that. It's also the reason you want to keep numbers out of your name, numerical symbols out of your name, right? It's confusing. If I say our name is Credit Suite 2, well, is it Credit Suite TWO? Is it Credit Suite TO? Is it Credit Suite TOO? Is it Credit Suite the number 2? Every single time I would tell somebody the name of the company, I'd have to explain that. So you want to avoid having symbols in your name, having words that could have different spellings or different meanings in your name as well. Things that are going to be hard for somebody to understand or spell. And you also, again, obviously want to avoid anything in your name that reflects that you're in a high-risk industry. So I might go with consulting if I have to put an industry type of thing in there. But again, my advice is find a name. I like really short names that don't mean anything, right? So you could come up with local marketing and it might be Lowmark, right? So Lowmark doesn't mean anything. L-O-M-A-R-K. I'm just making something up. It's probably taken. But that's how I like to find names, right? My name is Lowmark. Well, Lowmark sounds pretty easy to spell. L-O-M-A-R-K. Now, people might spell it L-O-W-M-A-R-K, so I'm going to buy both of those URLs. But again, something that's easy to spell, it's simple to be able to write out, right? 3 letters, 4 letters, 5 letters in that example. And again, it means something. If somebody asks me what it means, I say it stands for local marketing, for example, if that's what I'm doing. But again, it doesn't mean anything to the world. That means the URL is typically available and it's very cheap to be able to get. It's easy to spell. It's easy to remember. It's easy to say. Those are all the kind of things that you're really looking for in a name. Now, if you've gotten this right, then you stay out of these restricted categories. You stay out of the facing greater underwriter scrutiny category, and then you actually are seen as being in a low-risk business. And this makes all the difference for you being able to get approved. So let's look at this. How do we avoid getting denied based on our business name? First of all, we just do that basic research, right? We come in here, we make sure that we're actually looking and doing some basic research on NAICS code. We're just doing a simple search here of NAICS code, NAICS code. We're then coming in and we're finding NAICS Association, which is NAICS.com. We come right here to the search and we just start narrowing down whatever we think of. That was absolutely spelled incorrectly. And we just start to come in here and we just start to find the best representation of our business. Once we think we found this, which is in this example, software publishers, then we're going to just do a research and we're going to say high risk NAICS code. We're going to open up their list at NAICS.com, make sure that the industry we've chosen isn't here as being high risk. Then we're going to come look at the Credit Suite blog. It's even more high-risk industries to avoid. And if we're not seen as high risk, congratulations, we're good. Every loan application, every credit card application, every credit line application moving forward, when they ask what we do in our industry, we say, quote, we are software publishers, italics, NAICS 513210. I don't think I showed my screen when I was doing some of that. So again, we come here, we do the research of high-risk NAICS, we find their blog, we find our blog, and that will tell you the high-risk codes to ignore or to avoid. Then we come in and we do this on our tax returns. We do it on the business credit reporting agencies, make sure they always have the correct one. We do it on every loan, every credit card, every insurance application. If anybody ever asks our industry, we say software publisher, italics 513210 moving forward. Okay, now what we've done this is now we make sure that we have a name that does not reflect that we are in one of those high-risk industries. And again, the name could be something short, the name could be something in general. And again, we want to avoid names that are hard to spell, that have symbols in it, that have words that have multiple meanings. And we absolutely want to avoid a company name that has an indicator that we are in a high-risk industry. If you've done these things, congratulations. You are well on your way to being able to actually get approved in your business name and not be an obstacle. Now, to help you with this is only one point of fundability that you really want to focus on. I have a free fundability mini course that talks to you more about choosing the right address for your business and the phone number for your business and the website and the licensing and the bank account. All these other things lenders care about that you don't know they care about. I put all of that in a really short mini course. It's 100% free. You can scan the QR code or go to creditsuite.com/foundation. And that alone will take you to my mini course where I map out, here's the other things that you want to know lenders are looking for, you don't know about now. And then you can make some tweaks, make some adjustments, start stopping the future denials, start getting approvals, then go back proactively to the previous denials that you've had, and then basically go reapply. And you're going to start to see a lot of success of getting approved when you just do things like make sure you don't have a high risk indicator in your name and the other things that are in this fundability mini course. So that's it for me. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Now you know exactly why your business name is getting you denied for funding and how to fix it. And then you even have a deeper dive into the fundability mini course that'll give you everything you need to fix the other underlying issues so we can get you a lot more approvals so you can continue to fund the business of your dream. Thanks. Take care. I look forward to seeing you on our next stream. We're talking about more cool ways to get the money you need to start growing.